Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about some numbers and provide some comparisons. And we're going to talk about the things that caused those numbers. So, it's not a secret that the special military operation in Ukraine is not going well for the Russians. They're using gas masks from the 70s and 80s. They lack precision-guided munitions. It's just not going well all around. They're begging for food. They're begging for MREs. And all of this is mostly due to corruption. This is due to people within the military skimming a little bit out of the defense budget to pad their own pocket. Now that they need the stuff, they don't have it. But there are some other things that caused this as well. But before we get into it, let's talk about the numbers real quick. So, conservative estimates right now are placing Russian lost at 6,000 to 7,000 in that range. Conservative estimates. Informed estimates on the low end are 6,000 to 7,000. Some range up to, I want to say 11. I want to say Ukraine is claiming like 13,000 at the moment, but most people agree that's high. 6,000 to 7,000 in 20 days, roughly. For comparison, the United States lost about the same number in Iraq and Afghanistan in 20 years. It's going really badly. Now, the standard formula for this is whatever that number is, you take it and you multiply it by 3, and that gives you your wounded, which basically means 1 out of 10 Russian troops that was there in the original formation to invade, they're out of the fight. Which is why Russia is now begging for fighters from other countries, reaching out to the Chinese, asking for MREs and food and stuff like that. I think a lot of this is due to Russian command believing their own propaganda to the degree that they didn't take this seriously. They truly believed that Ukraine was just going to, drop to its knees and be like, oh, yes, please, let me be part of Greater Russia. And they believed that so much that they didn't actually plan a military operation. A lot of the losses, they can be attributed to lack of certain supplies, some of them. But at the same time, you have defense analysts all over the world scratching their heads trying to figure out why Russia is performing so poorly, why they aren't using basic tactics, why they're running tanks without infantry, why their paratroopers don't have air support, why they were even thinking about an amphibious assault that didn't need to happen. Because from a military standpoint, at the strategic, operational, and tactical level, this has been an utter failure. And it shouldn't have been. Russia's not this bad. And it doesn't make any sense until you stop thinking about it like a military operation. And you start thinking about it like a PR stunt. Because they truly believed Ukraine was just going to give up. So they let everybody come play. Needless amphibious operations, the airdrops, everything starts to make sense if you look at it through that lens, as if it was just a giant show for NATO. So they could say, we took this entire country in 3 days and didn't lose anybody. A PR stunt. That's the best explanation I can come up with. And that explains why they did that airdrop. Because they didn't expect anybody to be on the ground shooting at them. it explains a whole lot. But to be clear, that's speculation. I can't prove that. We know it went bad. We know they're using bad tactical maneuvering. We know that at the operational level, it's not going well. Their logistics are shot. Their intelligence is bad. The strategy wasn't good. We know that they lack certain supplies. Why? You can attribute it to a bunch of things, but I think it's a combination of those things. I don't think it's any one thing in particular. Now, on to the question I'm sure everybody's wondering about. Will China help Russia, since they have been asked? I think they will a little bit, but not enough to really help. My guess is that China is going to stick to its standard line when it comes to Europe, which is basically, that's not my problem. But I think they'll provide a little bit of assistance to Russia, not really to help it, but to keep it in the fight. You know, in the West, we have this view of Russia and China as being like super great allies. They're not really. They say that. They say that they are. But when this is all said and done, when you really remember you're at that international poker game and everybody's cheating, the Chinese will probably help Russia stay in the fight, so it drains Russia. Russia is China's competitor as well. And they are a little bit better at being cynical and assisting when they're not really assisting. That's what I would expect. I wouldn't expect them to send troops or any advisors or anything along those lines. But they may provide them some stuff to keep them in the fight because it weakens them. And as much as they stand out in public and say, we're the best of friends with no limits, that's not really true. That's not really true. That's a poker face for everybody else. They share more of a bond than a lot of other countries do, but China is trying to win the world with its economy, not with force. And going too far in with a country that is as economically isolated as Russia has become doesn't really fit with their foreign policy. While it may seem from the outside that this draws them closer together, China is probably looking at it through the lens of this could be another country that is dependent on us. So if they help, I think it'll be cynical in nature. I don't think it will be out of the spirit of friendship. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.